How you doing, folks? Patrick Johnson here. Sophisticated, libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, and historian. Chilling here at the Cove, Jupiter Cove, one of the most beautiful places in Florida. It's a Sunday. I decided to drive around, get a little bit of sun, meeting some people here at the Cove. But reason for making this video is it's time to start grinding. And what I mean by grinding is I'm going to start putting out probably shorter videos. I think I have value to add to the conversation, but I'm going to try to approach it from a different angle. So what I'm going to focus on is current events, geopolitics, but I'm going to try to focus on connecting everything to history, maybe to show everybody or to try to show people the value of history and how we can use it to better understand our current situation and where we're going, ultimately so that we can make better decisions for ourselves and our families. And I think there's just so many people who just don't get it. They don't care about history. They don't understand what historical context is, how to even think about history, and how it is useful for us today in our everyday lives. So the best way I can describe it right here, right now, off the cuff, is think of it this way. Before you make any decision, I'm an investor, so before you invest in a particular company, what do? You do research. And the company's history is important to where it's going and for you making your decision. You look at the financials, you look at the balance sheet, you see the movement of, the total debt of the company over time. You look at their cash flow statements over time. You look at at any other major developments within the company. And then you ultimately make your decision. Is this the right company for me? You don't just look at the company and say, oh, this is an EV company, and I don't need to know anything else besides what they're doing right this minute. Okay? You need to know the history and the background of that company in order to make a decision. Likewise, if you meet a person, any stranger, what's one of the first questions you ask? Where are you from? It's pretty much one of the first questions everybody asks, and at times they might hold back and try to wait a little while before asking that question so as not to appear so nosy or judgmental, but that's one of the first questions. Whenever dealing with people, whether it's in a business sense or just a social sense, you want to know the background of that person. You want to know where they came from. You want to know something about their history so you can judge properly how to interact with this person. That person's background is going to tell you something about how they're going to react to any given stimuli. History is very important for similar reasons. One thing about history is it is essentially the study of aggregate human behavior. And if we look at history and we look across the entire length and breadth of human history, one thing you'll find is that in the last 3,000 to 4,000 years of what we would consider recorded history, individual behavior and aggregate behavior. When I say aggregate, I'm talking about the behavior of entire societies. We can group entire societies, groups, factions, interest groups into an aggregate. And we can see how that aggregate group reacts to any given stimulus. And then we can judge and prognosticate essentially how they might react, the direction of their decisions, and then we can apply this to ourselves to make sounder decisions. Now, when we talk about history, we're not talking about cherry picking history. We have to look at history in its entirety. So when you interact with a person, you say, okay, he's from the same place I'm from. Oh, well, I can completely trust this person now. No, you don't, you can't, and you don't. You want to know as much as possible about this person. You know, whether he's a criminal, whether he's religious or not. Also, I'm not that I really care about either of these things, but those are just two things I think people commonly look to. If they have common interests, whether they have a family, whether they're married, you know, that's going to give you a better idea of how this person is going to act, and whether you can, you know, trust this person, whether you can get something that you want out of this person, sad to say. The same is true with history. We have to look at history in its entirety. We can't just say, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that is meaningful. We can't just say, for example, that people were enslaved in the United States, therefore United States bad. This is a common topic today. Because when we look at the entire history of the world, the United States was actually one of the, I wouldn't say trailblazers in abolishing slavery, but we weren't the last to abolish slavery. And we fought a devastating civil war over slavery. So if the United States was so evil, why would hundreds of thousands of people sacrifice their lives in order to abolish slavery? There were countries after us that still have slavery to this day, and many countries, many nations on earth abolished slavery after the United States. Russia, at the time of the Civil War, had 6 times as many slaves, an estimated 23 million serfs who were slaves because, for a variety of reasons, I can go over it, they were bought and sold as property. They had no legal rights, no civil rights. They were essentially possessions of their landlord. They were slaves. In Russia, there were 23 million slaves. Okay, so the United States has its own unique nuances as to the institution of slavery here, but the United States was not the only country that had slavery, not even the last or the largest slave-holding country. So we have to look at that because it's very easy to cherry-pick history. That's what a lot of people on the left do, and I am not on the right. I am a libertarian. I am an anti-authoritarian, okay? I do not subscribe to the left-right dichotomy. The real dichotomy is authoritarian versus libertarian in this world. That is the real dichotomy, and the reason we're losing that battle is because they have so many people fooled at this point, okay? But what I'm going to do, in short, is we are going to talk about current events. We're going to talk about markets, whatever floats my boat, and we're going to connect it to history, and we're going to try and illustrate to people the true value of history. That's going to be my mission. So I'm going to start grinding. We're going to start doing at least video, as many videos as possible. If I can do one every day, great. I would like to do at least 2 or 3 a week. Okay, so anyway, this is Patrick signing out. History matters.